Namaskar everyone, welcome back to Rebel with Love. Thank you for watching us, thank you for subscribing our channel, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe the channel at the end of this video. Make sure you watch the full video and click the alarm button for more updates on our videos. And today we are here to talk about modern parenting and what kind of lifestyle or challenge modern parents go through. So we're going to throw questions to each other, and we will answer it according to our experience, and it will be a form of advice to all those modern parents in the world. So I will start my question first. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, so my question is, what is the most difficult thing when it comes for a father when it comes to raising a child? What is the most difficult thing for a father when it comes to raising a child, and what was the most difficult thing for you?
I wouldn't say difficult. I would say it was a learning process where, having a kid is, first of all, is a big learning process where you need to understand them, and what are their needs and everything. So it was a joyful journey, I would say. I wouldn't say there wasn't anything difficult, It's a matter of you understanding the child, what's the needs for the child, and how you take care of the child. That's the whole process of it. Okay, my question. Okay, this modern age with all the handphone, iPad, smart TV, and so on, do you think letting a child having as a child likes the media time, watching TV cartoons, as they like, or should you have give them time as a playtime? That means there's a TV time, there's a playtime. What is your opinion?
Current modern world, you can't stop them from media, you can't stop them from TV, phone, because they are seeing what we are doing. So I don't find it fair to totally stop them from using phone and watching TV. You can set a time. So you have to balance the playtime, the normal playtime, and the TV time or iPad time for them. So my way is giving them 2 hours, giving my baby 2 hours, and 3 hours to 4 hours normal playtime. So that means she watches TV and iPad for 2 hours a day, and playtime is for 3 to 4 hours. So cutting them totally out of iPad and TV, I find it not fair, because TV has its own way of teaching child. So my daughter learned a lot of words, new words from TV as well. So you can have a balancing kind of time for them, so that you don't give them full 24 hours on that, and you just have a balanced kind of routine for them every day. Okay, my question for you is, what is it like raising a child during these 80s, 90s and current? How do you compare those, and how were you when you were a child? How do you see?
Okay, these 80s, 90s and now, 80s, 90s, a lot of things are not automated. Okay, we don't have that kind of technology, where it takes up most of your time and so on. Those times are practically, you have more physical time as a kid, you play a lot, you go out and so on. Nowadays, in this era, kids are indoor, total indoor, okay, with this pandemic and everything, so they have to be indoor and so on. But without this whole thing, the technology takes up the time for the kids, where they don't actually experience what the actual playtime, actual physical movement they do in outdoor and indoor. And for me, this is what the comparison comes back when I was a kid and what I see now as I will be outdoor most of the time. I'll be in outdoor. After school I am totally outdoor. I'll come back around. After school I come back morning school. I come back around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's it. I have my lunch. That's it. I'll go out and I'll come back only around 6:30 back. Total workout out there. You play and everything. So I don't see that in the new generation kids out here, where you get to see them most of the time. Wherever you go, you see them having iPad and so on, iPhone, watching cartoon, playing games inside there. My time, we were playing games outside, outdoor, physical. This is my opinion.
So, but now with all this COVID and all MCU, so sometimes we can't blame them also.
Yeah, at the pandemic moment, I wouldn't blame anybody. But as I said, before this pandemic, this is what was happening. And now you can't do much, you have to be indoors.
So before the pandemic thing that you were saying that previously and currently the more outdoor was there.
Yeah.
And so do you see it as a plus point or negative point?
For me, I see it as a negative point in sense parents don't let kids be themselves. That's the thing. Okay, they look at their time and their own flexibility more than paying attention to the kids and giving them their own kids time.
Another thing, sometimes some parents, the safety might be an issue. So some parents are afraid of leaving their kids outside, outdoor. So what is your comment on that?
Oh, okay. This is what happens. This is what I have seen. You see, you have a kid. Take care of your kids in sense when they go out of your house or so on. You have to have a supervision on them. It's not like you let them play wherever they are. Oh, they are here only. It is not the right way, because a split second, within a few seconds, anything can happen.
Yes.
If there is a supervision, you look at them, take the time. It's your kid. Spend some time with them. Play out there, outdoor, or wherever you go with them. Because this is what happens where I can get to see is parents, have kids, they play around. Even I go to the mall and everything, a parent will be sitting in the bench, the kid will be running around and everything, the parent will be on the phone. Next minute you don't know what's happening. Even in my housing area also the same thing. I get to see kids are outside, the parents are inside the house, don't know what's happening to the kids. Okay, my question. What do you think about this new age kids where they love to eat anything that they see in the TV advertisement, or they just love to eat anything without knowing is it healthy or is it junk food or is it good for them, or what is your opinion?
Okay, when they see advertisement and all, they will definitely be attracted because of the color and because of the way of they present the food. But sometimes they wouldn't understand that it's not healthy. So my style is to recreate the same thing that they see in the television and give them a healthy kind of bites, healthy kind of snacks, where when they are younger they wouldn't know what is it, but as they grow up you can start teaching them or telling them that is actually not healthy. So when they are younger, it's very difficult. Definitely they will demand for it, definitely they'll ask for it. Sometimes they might go depressed also when they don't get what they want. So that age, you can't tell them so many no's. So maybe you can go on their way and giving them something healthy by recreating the same thing, but giving a healthy kind of snack. So that's my way.
Okay, what do you think about parents becoming as a guide for them in that they also follow the same food, eating healthy food, throwing out the junk food and everything, because kids normally follow parents.
Okay.
So if parents are eating all these non-healthy foods and so on, do you think it's easy for parents to teach a kid while they can do it and the kid cannot do it?
Definitely no. So if a parent want to teach a kid not to eat unhealthy food and not to eat junks, parents should stop that first. So definitely your kid is watching you. So if you are not taking a healthy food and you want to advise your kid on taking healthy food, definitely they won't like it. Maybe when they are younger, they won't understand what is it. Maybe you can do it quietly without their knowledge. But as they grow up, they will definitely start asking questions. They will feel it as it's not fair. So if you want to guide your child in a proper way or healthy way, you have to change your way as well. That's what I think.
Alright.
So my next question, what is difficult in raising a child when you are a vegan? So vegan parents, what are your difficulties in that, or would you say it's a challenge?
I wouldn't say a challenge, because it will be a challenge for a parent who are starting to becoming a vegetarian and becoming a vegan. Okay, once you are in that process already and you have a kid, you can teach a kid how and what food, because what you are going to give them and present them, that is what they're going to consume.
Yes.
You see, so that is the easy part. The hardest part is, as a parent, you're converting yourself from becoming a vegetarian or a vegan. That is the hard part of it, because as a kid will follow the parents.
Okay. So when you are a vegan and you have a vegan child, most people will comment on, oh, your child won't be getting a proper kind of nutrients, not enough protein, your child will be very skinny, very unhealthy, your child will be underweight. So what are your comments on that?
Okay, first of all, becoming a vegetarian and becoming a vegan, it is not as a pastime. Okay, you have to understand, you have to do your studies, you have to do your research, what kind of food that you consume, where you can get all kind of vitamins and nutrition and everything. People will say all the things, okay, because you are in a global situation where there is a negative and positive people around you. Okay, as when people were to ask about we being vegan, and the next thing is asking your kid also is a vegan, it's a shocking thing for most of the people out there. Then when we explain to them how and what are the food options are there, and you can consume and can be healthy, it opens up people's mind.
Yeah, when I was pregnant,
Yep.
and I was vegan as well, I didn't take any dairy products, especially milk.
Yep.
So a lot of people were saying that it's not healthy at all, and
Pause and come back again from.
yeah.
Never.
So what is your comment on pregnant women becoming vegan, and is it fair or unfair for a woman to become vegan when she is conceiving?
No, I think it's the best moment, and it is most positive moment for the baby and for the mother. Becoming a vegan when you are in your pregnancy time. Okay, so it helps you in sense of having a healthy body, healthy baby into you. So the best experience is my wife here. She was a vegan when she was pregnant. She will tell you.
So yeah, a lot of people started shooting me with a lot of questions where I won't have enough nutrient and I won't be healthy carrying a baby. Actually, it was not true at all. So those are one of the myths of veganism. So when I wanted to have a baby, I totally cut down on dairy and I was a vegan. And the main reason was I wanted a healthy baby. And I wanted to teach my child what is a cruelty-free life when she was inside me. So I believe that a child will start learning when she's inside the womb itself. So, and I believe that my daughter knows what is a cruelty-free life from that age onwards and until now. And what we were doing is we were teaching her more, being more compassionate on animals rather than having a cruelty kind of life where you eat meat and all that. So I totally wanted to cut down, and a lot of people will say being vegan will actually bring you down, will end you up in a lot of complication during the pregnancy and even anemia. Actually it's not. So it all depends on eating a proper food and get a good supplement, and a lot of vegan food is actually out there. It's just that people don't explore. So the same nutrient that you get from meat, you can get it in plant-based food as well, and it's even more healthier. So it's all about you searching for it. Okay, my next question for you is breaking the odds and superstitious. Are you a superstitious kind of person? You have family tradition, and did you follow it when it comes to your child? And what is your advice to all those parents about this family tradition? You know, some family tradition that they follow for kids, sometimes it's very painful to see kids going through all that. I know it's a kind of religious belief, but sometimes there is no meaning in that, and sometimes more of it are superstitious. So what is your comment on that?
Okay, my whole opinion on this subject is it's, yes, as you say, it's kind of a controversial kind of topic where, you know, people have their own belief and so on. Okay, so I am not going to object anybody's belief and everything. I'm going to talk about my own belief. You know, I do my own research. You know, both of us has done our own research in religion, in superstitious, and so on. And it was a very, very good time as when our baby was born. Okay, by the time our baby was born, we were out of that kind of nonsense kind of thoughts where, you know, you've been programmed from child. Most of everyone from birth, you are programmed such a way, because why? Your forefathers, your grandparents, your parents, you know, your relatives and everything, they would have programmed you, can't do this, this one is for this is this, you know, all kind of this superstitious kind of mumbo jumbo thing. So we were very, very fortunate enough where we had our own understanding and research, and we experienced by experience. We knew it was all nonsense, you know. So by the time our child was born, she wasn't into that thing. If anybody were to try, our relatives or our grandparents and our parents or so on, were trying to tell us something can't be this thing, we will object that, and we will never try to indulge our child into that kind of stupidity.
So you are saying bringing a child, teaching a child about humanity is more important than teaching a religious thing.
Yes,
okay.
Really,
yes.
True.
Yes, I do believe in that too, because I believe that humanity is what is going to bring her up in her life later, and it's a very good kind of way of bringing up a child.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. My next question is, what age should a child, you should start nurturing a child?
Nurturing a child. Okay, so I think the best time to nurture a child is when a child can understand what you are saying, and they can follow your command, and they can do. Let's say you ask your child to bring a thing from point A to point B, and ask her to do something, maybe sit or stand. So that means she can understand a simple command. So maybe you can start a simple kind of thing to teach her from the time that she understands. It can be 9 months old, it can be 10 months old, it can be 1 1-year-old, it can be 2-year-old. It depends on your child. But the moment you see your child can understand things, that what you are saying to her, you can start nurturing them. It's not wrong. You don't have to start from something very hard. You can start from a simplest thing, from a GK kind of thing to hygiene, to any kind of a simple thing. Hygiene is very important, especially in this current era. So I would advise all parents to start teaching or nurturing kids on that first. So my answer is any age where she can start understanding what we are saying.
Okay. So what is your opinion towards parents who are to say, kids still have time, because most common this thing is most houses they don't indulge in nurturing kids, and since a preschool or a kindergarten or going to school, from there they will get their knowledge to everything. Okay. So what is your opinion on that?
If you want to wait for a preschool to teach them, it will be 5 years old or maybe 4 years old. So until 4 years old, your child wouldn't know what is the basic things that they need to know. So, and I think that sometimes it's quite late for them to know things, because for 4 years you are not telling them what they should do, how they should behave, and suddenly in 4 years old you just give them a bomb. So it will be a shock kind of thing. Sometimes they might retaliate, sometimes they might not like it. So you have to start from, what I say is, the youngest time when they can understand something, a simplest thing that you say they can understand, you can start nurturing. Like for me, my baby, I started teaching her hygiene from 9 months old. She understood what I was saying, so I just started. So that's how we started, right?
Yeah.
So for her, it's 9 months.
Okay.
So my last question for you is, what a parent should have mentally or physically before they have a child. That means in the process of preparing their mind or preparing to get pregnant, what they should do or what should they have physically, mentally, and how they should.
Okay. All right. This is a very interesting question. Okay. First, as a father and mother, both of you have to have the understanding. Okay. This is something that I believe, and I have told to my partner, that when you're having a child, you must have it out of love. Okay. Not because you want to just have a child. Alright. That means you're not prepared. Seriously, you're not prepared. Just having a child, it is not ready yet. Because when you have a child, alright, you must have it with love. Okay? Not have it with stress or hatred. It's a wrong time having a baby and so on. That means you're not ready. Both of you are not ready. Okay? So when you are actually ready, that means your mind and body, both of you, mind and body, both of you are ready. That's when you can have a baby. And before having a baby, you have to have an understanding what a child needs from birth right up to becoming an adult. So are you prepared in that process? You have to look at that also. Not simply just having a kid, and the environment is going to take care. There's no such thing. End of the day, you are responsible for your own actions. So having a baby is your action. You are having it, you have to take care of it, you have to have the understanding to it.
Okay, so some of them want to have kids. Even marriage is because of family pressure.
Yeah.
And after getting married, there's another pressure. Or when you're getting baby, so
Yeah.
sometimes some people can't get baby like others.
Yeah.
They can't get pregnant immediately. So sometimes there is a lot of stress in that.
Yeah.
So some people want to have baby because of that stress. So what is your comment on that?
I would say it's your own choice. You see, this is the first thing everybody must understand. Okay, your action is your responsibility. Nobody else can indulge you or influence you into an action that you are not happy to be in. You see, so you look at it. You know, as a married couple or newly married couple, it's not necessary immediately you want to have a baby. You have to have your own time with both of you, husband and wife, your own time of understanding and preparing yourself, you know, for the new member in your life, you know. So when you both of you have the understanding and you all are prepared, and when the baby is born, you'll be really happy, you know. Your happiness will just glow and you can see it.
Yeah. So seeing someone raising a child and having the same experience for yourself, raising a child is totally different thing,
Yeah.
right? So mentally somebody has to be prepared.
Yes.
And what is your comment on this family planning? So some people will take like 3 years break before having baby, and some people will take like even 5 years before having baby. So do you think that they should rush into it or plan properly, or what is your overall comment on family planning?
Overall comment on this is practically take your time. You must be comfortable. Okay, both of you must be comfortable. It's not like one person wants the baby and another person is not ready for the baby. You know, it doesn't work out such a way. Because why? At the end of the day, the person who wants the baby and the person doesn't want the baby. You know, at the end of the day, when the baby is born, there will be one hatred and there's another depression. You see, you don't need that for the kid.
Yes.
Okay, so you're actually torturing the kid.
Totally
Okay?
not fair.
Not fair at all.
Yeah.
So actually, that's why I say when both of you are ready, that's when you can have a baby. You know, it is not because of your environment pressuring you to have the baby. It is not about your age pressure you want to have a baby. It is not such a thing. You know, if you are indulged to that, that means you are not living your life. You are living for others.
Yes.
Seriously, you are living your life for others, not for yourself.
True. Very good. Yeah, very good answer.
Okay. Alright. My question. Alright. Having a kid, do you think is an investment or is actually out of love? Okay, before you answer that, because as you can see, a lot of people have a lot of kids and everything, because I have seen this out as having a kid most of the time is like investment. That means they have 4 or 5 kids, you know, end of the day they are old and everything, they got kids to take care of them and everything. What is your view on this?
Okay, so it comes back to my question
Yeah.
that I asked you. So when you want to have a child, you have to plan. So you don't have proper planning, you will end up in this way where you expect your kid to support you later and they become your investment. So if you want to have a kid, you have to plan so that you don't end up depending on them later. So kid for me is love, is not investment. I'm totally anti of investment, totally anti of seeing kid as investment. So whatever I do now is my choice. So for later part of my life, when I am old, when I'm retired, when I'm in an age where I can't support myself and I need someone, yes, I do need help from my daughter, but it won't be in a forceful kind of way, or it won't be like where, oh, I raised you from small, I gave you money for your education, so you are not looking at me or you are not taking care of me. It's not going to be that way. If you're going to put that, your child going to hate you, and the whole thing you did for your child from small to whatever age that you supported your kid going to be meaningless. Okay, so what the child will understand is, so all this while you did things for me because for an investment. Okay, so this is totally wrong. So when you have a child, when you're planning for a married life, when you're planning for a family life and all, you must have planning. That means you have to start something so that later you have something to support you. Okay, every kid will go through different kind of challenge once they are grown. Okay, for example, as a doctor like me, when I started my job in government, the pay was not much. So for me to support myself itself wasn't enough. So with that pay to support my family is totally difficult. So if I were to choose to totally give everything to my family, I will end up being no house, no car, you know. So my advice is let them have their life, and when the time comes for them to support, let them do it. So in the meantime, or maybe forever, you have to have your plan for yourself when you're old. Don't depend on your kid. That is my all-time advice to all parents, and don't ever see them as an investment. Okay, bringing a child to this world is your choice, and raising them is your responsibility, and whether they are going to take care of you or not is their choice. Okay, you have no rights to force anyone to do anything for you in this world. That's
Okay.
what I believe.
The same this thing, I'll ask you another question on the same topic, where you have a kid. Okay, do you think it is it a necessity, or is it a must for you to invest in your kids' future, in sense that you prepare for them on when they are older enough, a house or a bank balance for them, or a business for them, or any financial aid that you think is necessary? Do you think it's necessary, or is it okay, I gave birth already, I gave them education already, it's fine, it's up to the kid to how he or she develop themselves? What do you think on this?
I would say 50-50. Okay. When you have a child, the plan that I mentioned earlier, the plan is until they become grandparents, they become great-grandparents. So the whole responsibility is on you until the child is alive. Okay, until you are alive in this world. So you must leave something for them in order to survive. It's your baby. It's nobody else. Okay, it's not an enemy or what. It came out of your love. She or he came out of your love. So nothing wrong to give them something for them to survive later, and at the same time they also should work for themselves to come up in life. So if you have something for them, let's say even though they have degree and all, doesn't mean they study, they take degree in pharmacy maybe, doesn't mean they should end up being pharmacists. So maybe that is just an education part for them, but in life to progress they want to do something else. So if you have a choice for them, or financially you have a support, maybe they can start a business that they want. Okay, everybody has different kind of plan when they grow up, so it doesn't always stay the same like when they are a child. Okay, when I was a girl, or anybody, when the school teacher asks, I stick with my same ambition when I grow up, but it doesn't happen to all. Some people might say police, but when they grow up they end up being a doctor. So it can be different things. Or some people might study for something else, but when they do a job it's totally different thing. So I think it is a must, because it's your responsibility. Your baby is your responsibility, and you have to do things for them. So maybe you don't spoil them by giving a lot of money, and not like that. So you must always have a way to give it to them. Okay, set your rules. Okay, you achieve this, you get this, you achieve that, you get that. So that's how it should be. So that's what I think. So we are done with our questions, right?
Yes.
So thank you for watching us, and namaskar. So we
Namaskar.
will be coming back with part 2, where the topic we will announce later. So thank you for watching us. I hope you learned something, all of you all, whoever watching it. So anything you want to say?
Be yourself. Don't get indulged by the environment, and have a say, have a stand for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching us. Namaskar.
Namaste.